Hello, lovely people. How are you all doing? I trust that you are all ready to go for this new year. And don't forget the slogan for this year, day for who, day for you. It is important. You're welcome to another interesting episode on interviews with Tiwa Says. And as you can see this fine gentleman with me. A special guest on the show is the General Manager, Marketing and Sales of Daily Need Group. I don't know if you remember, Gen Zs, move away from this place. Those that are not Gen Zs, millennials and Gen X, do you remember that toothpaste, Daily Need? I won't do it till you've done it. So they are the makers. But I don't know what happened. Maybe he's going to tell us today what happened to that toothpaste. So his name is Mr. Folorunsho Alaron. You are welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, and so gracious to be here. Happy New Year to you again.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to start first with goal setting because it's the beginning of the year, and of course, that's what everyone is about now. Goal setting. Have you set your goals and all that? So, what is goal setting like for you, for your organization?
Yeah. Good morning, my audience, and very happy. Nice to have me here. For an organization like myself, it's very important that you set the goal, and of course, we've done that. Before the year even ran out last year, we had some many years goal plan. So this year is just one of those short-term plan that we've had. And we are very keen on achieving the one set out for this year. So it's very key for us to set the goals because we have a goal, we have a vision where we want to be, and we said that goal setting simply is quite important for us. It simply means having your mind on the things you really want to achieve for the year, of course, and breaking it down to how you want to achieve those things. And there are some KPIs and some activities that must be executed for you to achieve those. And with the teams and everybody we have, from the production team to the sales, everybody just knows exactly what to do to achieve those things. Down from the group managing director down to the gate man. This is important.
Interesting. Okay, so I want to ask, would you say that the current state of the nation, the economic state, does it in any way affect your goals?
Sure. In fact, part of goal setting is to put into consideration the reality of the economy, and we've done that. For instance, you might have a particular plan in mind that you want to grow by this amount of growth. The question is, is the industry actually growing in that rate? Assuming you intend to have a 100% growth in your sales and all those things, your pharma industry, has that been established growth in that? Of course, if there is none, they can't grow beyond what the industry will then allow, except there are some low-hanging fruit we want to, achieve. So it's multifactorial, and of course, being multifactorial, consideration of the economic situation is very key, very important in that. So those microeconomic element, the macroeconomic element, need to be put seriously into consideration to set those goals. Otherwise, they become unrealistic, very unrealistic, and then of course, if you don't set realistic goals and you have people to achieving unrealistic goals, you're only just going to burn them out, and that might also affect negatively on their motivation because they will not be achieving the results they expect. There's always this gladness when you achieve results, and you want to be, like that.
Okay. So what would you say are the challenges for your organization being an indigenous, pharmaceutical company in Nigeria? I know the Nigerian factor. A lot of people prefer to use foreign drugs. They feel like, oh, those ones work better than the locally made ones here. So what are your challenges basically?
Wow. There are many challenges though, and actually I don't see them as challenges. I will try and be taking them one after the other.
Okay.
It's more like saying a cup either is half empty or is half filled. For instance, we have initially the past when it's multinationals were leaving the country. To me, I think if you look at the indigenous company like us, it might just be a good opportunity for us to fill in the gap. And they are indigenous company. Majority of the employees now are folks are Nigerians.
Yeah.
We own the business. In fact, probably in my own capacity, growing the Nigerian brand and trying to drive the vision of the Nigerian brand and driving it beyond even the shores of Nigeria. So why you not say if there are challenges? Yeah, there could be challenges because now we are core manufacturers. All the products that we sell, we manufacture them locally. We are not yet into importation of finished goods. So So we only import the raw materials and we produce them. So we want to talk about power. Power becomes quite a lot of challenge to everybody, particularly when you look at the rate of generator, the diesel cost, and all those things. But proactively, some years back, our vision-driven group managing director has taken some very bold steps with support of the management. We are not on the grid. We've long since years back invested on gas, so we generate our own power. So we've been able to manage that. So for two ways, for us to be economically viable, number one. Number two, to also play into the green. Want to have this green energy thing, green environment thing to reduce the carbon emission and the rest of that. So when we come to our plant, what you see generating our power is gas. In fact, nothing, just see lights. We are not on the national grid. So being able to manage that to some extent. Maybe another factor we could see now is competition. Because apparently when you import raw material, there are import duties to them. And by the time you put the import duty, going through many factors, the raw material we need locally, maybe the people who are buying them from might not have had some cost saving, implementation that we have done. So we buy things costly, things have changed. So by the time we have our finished goods, our cost might be a bit higher than those finished goods being imported into the country. So we now start seeing price parity, and there's minimum to which you can pay the price war. You can't bring the price down because you want to beat it. So what do? We actually invest more into marketing our brands, making people see and love our brands. I keep asking many of the questions that do people buy emotionally or they buy, if it's not emotionally, they buy, what's the other one? Or they buy rationally or emotionally. Okay. I think a lot of people, more or less, at a point, emotion overrides the rational buying. So when we endear our brands to the heart of people, they actually want it for as long as they can actually afford it. So there is that competition there in the market. It's highly compensated for my market. We've been able to handle the power sector. And of course, manpower also could just be a major challenge. Of course, distribution of the pharma products, the cost. So basically it's cost, moving around, importation, distribution cost, keeping the employees in place, the training. So it's not so easy running the pharma market, but you just have to play in the market one way or the other.
Interesting. That's a whole lot. Okay, so what strategies are you putting in place for people to, how would I put it, to accept your products more than the foreign ones? Although you mentioned that people buy emotionally rather than rationally, I find that a little, because if I'm going to be buying a drug now, I have a headache. Of course, I'm going to buy the one that is most effective. Even if I feel like, oh, my uncle makes an analgesic, but when I take it, I don't feel like it does the work. But there's this other one that does the work. Even if it's a little costlier, I'd rather buy the one that does the work. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. So what strategies are you putting in place for people to buy more into your own products or Nigerian products than the foreign products?
Yeah, good question. But let me go back to what you just said. You see, when you buy and you believe that a product works for you, you're already putting emotion behind it. Because yes,
that's rational.
That's rational, but it might be more expensive. Now, when it comes to rational, talking about cost, it's more expensive, but it works for you.
Exactly.
So you buy it.
Exactly.
That product, some people like, it's expensive, I can't afford it. Even though I know it works, but give me the one that is this. So we have a lot of that playing in the industry, particularly in pharma. Pharma market is a very peculiar market in the sense that as things keep going on, you cannot reduce anything. You can't take out a 500 mg of paracetamol. We have a brand of paracetamol called Rexall. The 500 mg paracetamol remains 500 mg irrespective of, we can't change the quality. But if you understand many of the food items you consume, many of them have reduced. If I don't want to mention brand, but if you look at General Sweet now, it becomes small. Biscuits have become very lean. They cut costs just to reduce and make it more affordable. Pharma is not like that. So the pricing hits it directly because it's not about the cost, it's about the efficacy, and that's what you are referring to. Because you believe that is efficacious and you don't know that there are other better brands because you are just a consumer. So emotionally, you're attached to that brand for a reason. There's always a reason for something. You understand? But if it was rational, even though it works for you, as far as there's another one of 1,000, instead of buying the one of 5,000, giving them one of 1,000. That's rational thinking because you want to cost, you want to. So it's a complex topic. I mean, it's how we manage it. Maybe I didn't do a proper introduction. We have been in the industry for 52 years. You
Wow.
know,
A
in
Nigerian company.
Nigeria for 2 years. So we are not, of course, many Gen Zs, like I said earlier, they will not connect. You know, we have this brand that time dealing its toothpaste and everything. It's still there. You know, that there are always a lifespan with product and everything. We are bringing it to a bigger, much bigger than it is. But we're being in the farmer and consumer brands and all those things. So for 2 years of consistently providing healthcare quality brands for Nigerians to consume. So we are there. One of our major brands is Didion's Tonic. Is an household name. Is a gold standard when it comes to hematinics and blood supplementation. People have come to trust over the years. You know, our parents, ourselves, and over the years. So that quality is still maintained.
But is there a way you can bring it down to layman's English so that people will understand what that the Dion really is?
Okay.
Because like you are using complex terms.
The Dion is basically an hematinic. An hematinic is hematinic is a set of product that you take that replaces vitality in you, blood building, product, pharma product like that. So one of the top class on his own kind of special formulation is Didion. It's been there for more than 40 years, and people are still using it till now.
I know.
And the good thing about it is made in Nigeria, quality Nigerian brand. So question is, why must we all depend on import when we have the capacity here? And when I now want to talk about quality, there's no contest about it because for every single process in our manufacturing facility, we call what they call the good manufacturing practice, good manufacturing, we follow those detailed things. So the quality is there, and they always say that the taste of the pudding lies in eating. So when you have maybe low hemoglobin level, which is that blood carrying component of the blood, and you are short in blood and everything, you have to build up your blood level and everything. The dinner has come to be very effective in doing that. And of course, the way to measure the quality of those pharma is the efficacy. Do they produce the results you expect them? Beyond Didion, there is Rexall, paracetamol, there is other antibiotics, and all many ranges, about 20 different brands that we have. So those qualities have been there instilled. But of course, like you said, what are we doing to ensure people keep doing? So we have our team out there, always having face-to-face meeting with medical practitioners, doctors, nurses, and pharmacists, extolling the virtues. Of course, there's always a lot of competition in each category. Pharma market is a very peculiar one. You can't, because you expect people to just take it. Doctors need to, with our target are not consumers, because under regulation, you can't talk to a patient directly. But you need to talk to people that manage patients, that's doctors, pharmacists. Okay. So those are very brilliant guys too, that they want to convince them why they should use a product above the others. So we do a lot of education, we do a lot of clinical meetings, product updates, trainings, symposium, all those things, to let them understand that for this problem that you have in your patient, that definitely this solution you could offer. And this solution you're offering is better in this aspect to this way compared to the other solutions you've been trying. And if they are convinced about that, they change their prescription, and that goes in. And of course, many patients that come to see the doctors, they come sick, they depend on what doctors give them. They hardly question that. So once they give the Dion, the Rexall, the Loxetrim, the Anodol, and the rest of them, they go there, buy. Of course, a pharmacist that has a store, when they see prescription coming, understand, this thing is being requested, though. No question. It means that the stocks are more.
Interesting. Well, that brings me back to my next question. It is interesting to know that, okay, it's not everybody that goes to the hospital, sees a pharmacist and all that. So that takes me to drug abuse. People just use medication, wrongly.
Yeah.
Because when you say drug abuse, a lot of people like to just think that, okay, you're sniffing something, or but drug abuse is not even just overdosing itself. Using medicine wrongly. Yeah. Like, okay, what example can I give now? Someone who has headache, like, okay, you have headache, and you are supposed to take what, paracetamol or what's it, paracetamol, whatever brand. But somebody might go and take what's it, what's this drug? I'm sorry, it's fuzzy in my head now. But what I'm trying to say is that they do not take the drug per the condition. They just take other drugs because, okay, I've taken this before and then made me feel better. Or somebody is stooling, going to the toilet, and then the person is taking, they say you should take what's that they take, Flagyl and tetracycline, or is
I know what you're talking about. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I want to be sure
yes,
you're asking.
So and then later on I heard that, okay, like if you are purging, you don't even have to take the two together, right? That you just take the Flagyl. Abi, am I right or wrong? Help me here. What I'm trying to say is that people use drugs wrongly, or somebody will say, okay, I'm not feeling too well, I have malaria, without testing. And then you just go to the pharmacy, and then and then there's a difference between pharmacy and chemist, right? Yeah. And you just go to the pharmacy, and then they just, they still do that thing these days. Yeah. They just count it. Okay, 2 vitamin C, 2 paracetamol, 2 this, gbogbo nishe. And they just take these things, and okay, they feel like, oh, they are better, because maybe after a couple of days they may feel better, but then it now comes back worse and all that. So what do we do about this epidemic? Because that is what it is.
I think one great thing is that one great epidemic in Nigeria, like you rightly want to use that word, is drug misuse. And drug misuse or abuse is not necessarily only taking cocaine or all those hard drugs.
Exactly.
When you underdose, when you overdose,
too is
when you misuse, just generally abuse the use of drug. Even commonly giving you a full regimen of product to use, and once you take the first, second, and third doses, and you are fine, you just abandon it. That's drug abuse as well.
That's serious drug abuse.
What other one is self-medication. Is a terrible thing. My neighbor had malaria, though I saw her taking this product. So today I have malaria, so I can go and buy it too. How are you even sure what you have is malaria? So there is a general, I would say one of the indices in the pharma market to understand that out-of-pocket spending is so high, and businesses are lacking on the fact that patients don't go, government don't sponsor like that. They don't pay for your health, so you pay for yourself.
Exactly.
And when they go, they look at the cost of having to go to hospital to go and pay for consultation. So instead of going to the consultation, they go to the nearby shop and they meet somebody they don't even know the difference between a pharmacy and chemist that you mentioned.
Exactly.
2 big differences over there. And you see some unschooled, claiming to be pharmacists. Some, they call themselves doctors, and they've not been to the 4 walls of secondary school, doctors of the university or medical school, and they count different things. So much about drug abuse. It's a very big thing. And that what stands some of us out in the industry. Because when you want to take an antibiotic, it would let you know definitely, And I think even the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, I'm a member of that as well. Particularly the ACPN, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, they're really going on a lot of campaign out there trying to educate people. And I'm not sure there will be any pharmacist in a pharmacy that will start cutting drugs for you and everything. And again, the lack of understanding when the pharmacist wants to attend to you and give you your full regimen. Maybe you need an antibiotics for 7 days and maybe twice daily dosing. 7 days mean 14 tablets, 2 cards. And it's expensive, let me go to them. And another person cut 1 tablet for you, cut this for you.
Exactly.
You're cool and you're gone. The harm that is done in your body when you don't complete the dose is beyond what can be repaired. The pharmacists will not do that, So that makes those chemists more popular. But, so a lot of things. Maybe there will be more stronger regulation on who opens what and the more supervisory role that NAFDAC and PCN should do in getting this thing wrong. But then there's a lot of self-medication, drug abuse out there. So as a pharma company, we take that into cognizance in our approach. Sometimes they say if you cannot beat them, if you cannot beat them, train them. Don't join them.
Okay.
Train them. For instance, we have this group of people, they call the NAPMED, who you're calling about chemists, we call them NAPMED. So what we try to do, we try to have seminars with them, introducing the product, and what even the ills. It's not enough to sell the lofty, the unique selling points of the product to people alone. Okay, they take paracetamol, solves the headache. After 3 days, see doctor. You know that if you take it beyond a particular time, it also can give you diarrhea. So as you're extolling the good features, you also remind them that it can cause this other side effect. So you give them the whole thing so that you don't give them one thing and play on the other side. But most importantly, I would just encourage people to always visit doctors and pharmacists for their medication, because ordinarily the other chemists are meant to be selling what they call OTCs alone. OTCs are over-the-counter drugs, things that are not prescription driven. You can easily buy them. But when it comes to treatments, antibiotics, cardio, hypertension drugs, all those other things, you need to go to a well-labeled pharmacy and insist they want to see the pharmacist. That if you cannot go to see the doctor. But I rather as well, they try to see the doctor, confirm exactly what the problem is. That I'm feeling feverish and she's feeling feverish does not mean we both have malaria. It can even be COVID. My own might be malaria and her own is COVID.
It could be the other way around.
So but you see what clearly states it is the confirmatory test that comes out. You go for test. So again, you mentioned something about malaria. People generally just go to it's crazy. It's see a lot of epidemic in the because sometimes when you go to lab to do the malaria, you see everybody that go for typhoid they put XXX. I was like, what is XX? 112. It's a wrong interpretation.
And that is at the lab.
It is really at the lab.
Wow.
Because the lab also, a lot of wrong things happen there. Give us the measure. Everybody that go for that test to do to confirm whether you have typhoid or not, you must always be positive. Naturally, you'll be because everybody is more tighter. That thing measure the tighter. The real confirmatory test of whether you have typhoid, for instance, is just stool culture. You grow the typhoid, the paratyphoid, whatever, that organism. It will grow and confirm. If I go now, see typhoid, but I don't have typhoid. So they just load them with drugs and everything. Some will do the test and sell on the one side. So there's so many problems in misuse of drug and self-medication, and it's not helping matters. Nigeria has one of the most haphazard drug distribution in Nigeria. So you need to understand that to even be able to stay and operate and profit. It might not happen like this in other clime, where everything is properly regulated,
But because Nigeria, even if you go to the big pharmacies here in Nigeria, they don't ask for a prescription.
Yeah.
They don't. And you can't even do that, in all those foreign countries. You need to have a prescription, even for something as little as cough syrup. And you need to have a prescription.
I said
they will not. And sorry to cut you. And, I noticed that is why, some of these people who are based abroad, when they come home, for holidays and all that, they always buy drugs to take, they'll buy malaria drugs, they'll buy antibiotics, they'll buy all these drugs and they take it there because, you cannot just go over the counter and say, I want to buy ampicillin because you need a prescription for such things, But here, it's crazy.
I can expatiate on, explain better on that. You see, when you go to a pharmacy, like I stressed earlier, I will always say that insist you want to see the pharmacist. A pharmacist is well trained to handle your major problems too, and he also is trained that if you suspect something beyond what ordinarily you are telling, he will advise you. I think at this stage, go and see a doctor. Expect that if you see a doctor and everything, can come back and we'll take it off from there. But when it comes to recommending antibiotics and the rest of them, pharmacists by law and by training, they have the capacity to that. In fact, so that there will not be any abuse, one of the major things that even a pharmacy must request, if the pharmacist is attending to you, for me to be guided is when you request for all the psychotic products, like things like diazepam, the lorazepam, all those habitual drugs that can cause addiction.
Addiction, yeah.
So because I have to have a poison book that needs to be recorded, that it shows how many I've bought and I have dispensed them by law. So that must be, and that's what some people want to circumvent.
Yeah.
So then, of course, because of the enforcement of such, now most pharmacies will always still request that I want to see that prescription, that really a doctor has given you a prescription or somebody has given you a prescription of diazepam.
In Nigeria?
Yeah. They do that now, yes.
Oh, really?
But for antibiotics and all those OT, that's why you see there are two different things. Those napmed, the chemists you mentioned, they are manned by, let's say, traders who choose to do business in medicine sales.
They
They
just want
call
to sell
them
drugs.
patent and proprietary medicine
Yeah.
vendors.
Okay.
Law allows them. They are under the law legal to open, but they are not selling beyond OTC. OTCs are over-the-counter drugs. Things like multivitamins, things like paracetamol, pain basically multivitamin, paracetamol, and some anti-malarials. When it shifts to treatment, antibiotics down to common septrin, trimoxazole, they are not supposed to.
Yeah.
But you see many of them still having it because they don't know when. How do I know?
Ampiclox.
Because the
That's
same
just-
antibiotics, Ampiclox, and the rest of them, the same antibiotics that is, they're all antibiotics, yes, but different indications has shown that the susceptibility of the causative organism differs from one antibiotic to the other. You have
We didn't
from-
understand that English that you just spoke.
there are organisms, bacteria that cause these infections.
Yes.
You know, so from the training of the pharmacists and doctors as well, they've thrown on that lab that susceptibility, this organism responds better to this drug, this class of drug and everything, even though they're all antibiotics.
Yeah.
And we have infections. There's a need for us to, there's always a reason to, why this one work for this infection, this one might not work for that infection.
True.
From history, from training and everything. This is not known to those that have not been to school. Those chemist guys, they didn't go to school, they're just traders. So on what ground would they now be recommending? Now you give somebody septrin, because cotrimoxazole does not mean that another person that comes should be giving the same thing. No. You know, a trained pharmacist will know that, oh, this one, no, common septrin will do it. This one, tetracycline will do it. Or go for the test, and the test, they give you a whole list. Okay, this is highly susceptible, highly effective against it. Okay, so I'll give this. And there's other system they call empirical, treatment. You come down to me, you're very sick, I need to intervene. You really, coughing and everything. Okay, we'll do an available, we'll start you on a medication to manage you
The symptoms.
while we send you to the lab to go and get confirmatory tests. When the lab comes in and shows that, if the product we've given to you starts and, it's still the same thing they recommend, it can continue. If there's a better one that can resolve the problem, we'll change it to that. So there is that. Only trained people could do that, and that's a pharmacist and that's a doctor that can do that, not chemist. So it's, of course, I don't know what regulation there is, to enforce this. Many of these are being abused. You go to a chemist, you see all sorts, down to cardio problem, hypertensive drugs, antihypertensives being sold.
Yes, just
How do
being
you know?
sold.
What policy are you giving? There are different classes of antihypertensive, there are different stages, there are different protocols to follow. That you need to understand that. If you don't, let the doctor prescribe. Even some doctors don't know. Then let the specialist there, like a cardiologist, prescribe, and you just dispense accordingly and let them, good product counseling, how they will use, how they will do it, what we do. Pharma is complex. So being able to manage within all these misuse, management, people playing, everybody wants to sell drug, because during the pandemic, when everything was so expensive, pharma was selling, so everybody just want to invest. Question is, the barrier to enter is high, but people circumvent that, just want to be into it. So it's a problem in this country. Maybe some more regulations with them. But for us, our daily needs, what we practice, for every single people we supply, the person must have fulfilled all the registration. We supply the pharmacists, we do documentation, approve premises and the rest of them. So to play our own role, to be sure that what we produce in our factory, through our sales team giving out, is through the right channel, to the right people. We are getting to get to the final consumers or patients.
Okay, and there's also this issue of fake drugs. I don't want to believe that affects your company, because it's a Nigerian company. Except you are telling me that you also get problems like that. Do you get people trying to imitate your drugs and then putting fake labels and all that?
Yeah, for now in my company, we've not had that challenge.
Okay.
And we keep our eyes out there open. We are quite close to our distributors to be informed about anything like that. But it's a regular occurrence in the industry.
Yes.
It's terrible. If you listen to me, you see NAFDAC busting people. During the December, there was this industry, there was this where, but not even in drugs, the consumer wine and the rest of them. The same thing happened in drugs. And there are popular brands. Particularly many of these companies that are leaving the country right now, moving out, the brands are still there. You see people putting, God knows what they put together as job.
Exactly.
Get the packs and put in, maybe, I don't want to mention brands, and to fool the people out there. So what I would say to people is, when they do, well, it's difficult to actually identify, because I've had to battle fake products in my where I worked over time. And I used to have a brand that exactly the same thing, but as head of marketing, we're doing something always ahead of the when we do a modification, it takes about 6 months for them to sell their old stock, and as they're doing that, we're changing again while we're also storming the market. So it's a terrible thing, and it's just one of the problems we have. A faster drug distribution, fake, and people really.
Is there no way to really know fake drug from the original?
There are many ways to crude, but only the manufacturers who do know that. And the gullible people that buy, I'm sorry to use the word gullible, they're going to say that innocently you are just buying and they're
exactly
giving.
Innocently. So how would you know that
you only know maybe when you use it and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. If you use it and it doesn't work, it's even better than using it and then it harms you,
So what many companies have done right now, and what the government is doing for good now, NAFDAC also is pushing for, is to do what they call MAS, mobile authentication system. So you see many of these highly faked or very sensitive products, antibiotics and everything, they've encouraged the manufacturers, to have that MAS sticker on it. So that when the consumer goes out there and buys a pack of antibiotics, either cardiovascular, antihypertensive, antibiotics, and mainly anti-malarials, those highly used you see the thing, you scratch it, and it takes the number.
Yeah,
it will confirm to you that this is original.
So that cannot be faked.
That cannot be faked.
Okay, because I've seen that on a couple of.
No, there are companies behind that. So if you're saying that nothing returns back and you can't use the same number twice, you know that something is wrong, you can reject it there and there. You can even report to the company and all that. So, but then that's using technology to drive and fight fake. Those are the steps the industry is taking towards now. And even within the industry, not many people have really embraced it, because that one too has a cost effect to it. But of course, now we are discussing the end result, people buying fake. Because see, you're down, sickness, you want to take a drug and find that you've been treating yourself for 2-3 days and are still worse off.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you realize it, you've gotten worse to the point of no return, God forbid. So it's really epidemic. For us, we are lucky yet not to have, but then we keep our eyes on the field to watch out for anything. And I'm sure many other companies would have that product faked, that are taking a lot of bold steps to do that. Storming the market, closing warehouses down, prosecuting the fakers. But it's an unending battle because they keep changing and changing. It's crazy.
I guess one just has to be careful and keep safe out there.
I always tell people, please go out there, get to a pharmacy.
Exactly.
Request ask for the pharmacist.
A real pharmacy.
And
not pharmacist that you enter and you ask for Panadol and they will still be saying
this,
giving you antibiotic.
Anybody that will count drugs for you,
please,
that will say,
anybody
that even has the mind to cut 2 capsules here for you, down for you, walk out of that place.
Please,
it's not good
practice. Is it the new rule or general practice now that if you are buying an anti-malaria, you must also buy an antibiotic with it?
It is not. Like I'm saying, that is self-medication. I'll tell you why they do that.
Because I don't understand.
I'll tell you why they do that. They assume that you have malaria. You are feeling free. What are the symptoms of malaria? Weakness, feverish feeling, joint pains,
headache.
Malaise is when you don't feel good. You're just too good. Sometimes loss of taste, many things. When you look at the symptoms of malaria, the symptoms of typhoid, they are almost close, similar.
Yes.
The day I saw, let me digress, the day I saw a man on bed that, in fact, died of typhoid, it's very painful. People trivialize things like this. So, so now the government, they're trying to promote that, even though you think it's malaria, encourage test, confirm it is malaria before you commence any anti-malaria, even though if you are so willing to sell. So because you are not sure, they'll give you anti-malaria, give you an antibiotic along with it. So whether it's typhoid or malaria or take it could be other things.
Wow.
So that's still it's not safe. It's not safe. I mean, if you are taking,
Wow.
there must be something leading to something. There must be proper diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
A wrong diagnosis is the quickest way to the grave. You know.
Really?
So even though the guy is feeling this, are you sure it might not be malaria? He just need to rest. But if it doesn't take anything, test. It's 3 minutes test, you get to know whether it's malaria or not. And I said there are many testing now, self-test, rapid test in the pharmacy too.
Oh, really?
You could do that, just take blood cells. Oh, malaria. Oh, it's positive, then I think it's malaria. Typhoid adds some culture. Now, if it's malaria and you're choosing malaria has been eradicated, you still feel a bit. By that time, if you think you want to do the right thing, let him go for wider test. Not really the wider, the real culture for typhoid. Okay. No. And after 3 days, many average the treatment is 3 days for malaria and all that. You've like gotten the result and all those things. You know, oh, that's malaria, that's typhoid too. It now have a basis for you. But right now, the problem we have is because of the rush, the intent to want to sell and make money, you just see every patient as a milk to make out money from, just give them drug to go. And that's where we're getting it wrong, you know.
Wow, talking of epidemic, drugs and all, I hear that, you know, it looks like we are on the brink of another pandemic, another COVID era, because I hear that there's a new strain of COVID now, and there's influenza A, there's HMPV. I hear that China is down right now. Their hospitals are filled up. There's panic everywhere. You know, what is your take on this? And why does it always have to start in China?
You know, without sounding political, I was going to say like China again. I actually read that in the news. We're referring to human metapneumovirus, what they call it HMPV, along the other ones, many of them.
Yes, you know, it's not even that it's just one. Along there are like 5. Yes. What happened?
You know, but I think from the news I heard now, the problem now is the same process that happened the last time we had COVID back in 2020 is happening. Because China is not owning up, they're playing it down. Exactly. They're making it look like it's normal thing. The hospital is the condition, is the flu, is the weather, and all those things, you know, like that. So let us see. But I think I would just advise our government. We've done very well on this before. We've been very proactive. And it's even no good that it's on the news. You know, countries like Nigeria, we watch our borders, watch people. I'm sure, I mean, we've done it before.
But do you think they are taking steps now? Because I don't feel like we have to wait before we start taking steps. You know, I think we should be proactive and start taking the steps.
I want to believe that the Center for Disease Control, you know, having done this in the past and been able to curb from Ebola to COVID and did it very effectively well. I think they won't be blind to this. They will have been taking it. So I want to give it to them. You know, they know. I mean, we are proving over time that our system works when it comes to something, sincerely speaking.
Wow.
The Ebola thing was a mind-boggling. Well, it's quite encouraging, yes. I mean, we give it to Nigeria, we have it, we have it. We don't have it, we don't have it. But I think we do have. So with all that happening, of course, so usually the first thing I know is people coming from that region, from that country, well, I've been there, you know, maybe I've not been to the airport to see people coming in. But if they're coming from China, for instance, things, not only Nigeria, many other countries that are reasonable, we start doing all those checks right there.
Yeah.
You know, from temperature measure, there's all basic, but temperature, all those, they want to check all those things before you allow you inside. And of course, with the face masks and the rest of them. So I think many countries just be very proactive, be on the alert, particularly people come from that region to their country and the borders.
Because this influenza, that one is in the US. So at least there's been a known case. And for them to be a known reported case, that means there may be other cases.
Other cases over there.
Know?
Yeah. So we, under disease surveillance, you just have to put your teams on the alert, you know, where you take them for quarantine when they do come. How do you detect at the bot?
Do we even still have those centers?
They're always available at any point in time.
There. Wow.
You know, it might be quiet, but they're always there. It's only when it becomes magnanimous big. When we had the issue of COVID, you had to create more centers big to accommodate more people. You know, I think we have a very Ministry of Health. I mean, with the new minister in place now and the party, I think they're doing quite well. The CDC are proving that they can do such things. We've seen it historically, not that we are saying it. They've been able to manage Ebola and the rest of that. Can you imagine if they didn't arrest the Ebola person, even though we lost that woman, we are so rest in peace. So we tend to have proven that we could manage those things, and I hope we could still do that. Let's see.
So what would you advise for, you know, the layman, not even the country, like me, you, what would you advise everyone to do? You just to prepare, as in boosting your immunity, as in, what to do, what to wear, what to eat, and all that, just
Okay.
in case that
Okay.
we have
Number
another.
one first, as it is right now, I would say I want to encourage people to adopt the regular hand washing.
Yes.
I personally, I avoid more or less shaking hands. I do all the knuckle thing, all those things. But like now that we now know, how it is. If anybody, if you feel you're not good, you're not okay, you're sneezing, and you think if you go do proper checkup, stay home, don't know what it is, go and confirm that it's not anything beyond that can be handled, there. And there are many things out there. I wouldn't say start drugging yourself in preparation like we were doing that time, and vitamin A, vitamin C, all those is.
Yes,
But I would say
try.
regular multivitamins supplementation might be needed for us to just keep on. Because I would tell people,
What kind of vitamins?
it can be specific. It's always like it's only multivitamins. That always
Okay,
makes
multivitamins.
because the body. I always see the body as like a vehicle. You keep on flogging the vehicle. You're not checking the oil. You're not checking the brake oil. Just flogging it. You need to supplement. With the way things are in the economy, how many people are actually eating 3 times a day
Right.
or twice a day? How many people are eating right? When you say balance, what is balance in your diet? Do you have all those things the body actually requires to take? So, even for those that really have wanted to do that, they don't even have time to do that. So I think beyond the regular food we have, balance or no balance, we need to encourage supplementing ourselves and all that. Because see, the body is naturally equipped to fight against all these things. It's basically all the thing you do is to build your immunity. Any foreign substance that enter the body fights immediately. So if they cannot fight, is a problem. Then you become immunocompromised, God forbid. So that ability to fight is what we're trying to build by regular supplementation, encourage the body to produce those cells needed to fight and prevent you from having. So basically I will just encourage. I won't say anybody should just go into panic mode right now, start swallowing vitamin C, following this and this, thinking no. Just take care of yourself, eat as much balance.
Vitamin C is good now, have you?
Vitamin C, but everything is good. Even overdose of everything is also bad.
Yeah, true.
Even overdose of water can kill, so regular supplementation has some trace of vitamin C. B complex is there. The magnet, the.
But are they in the right doses for the day?
Yeah, most of the time, most multivitamin preparation, how would they call the RDA?
Yeah,
the
recommended
daily allowance, which is just what you need. It's only when you specifically are deficient in one, then you'll be given the high dose. You're giving the high dose of that particular one that you're. But if it's just what to maintain you, the allowance is there. When you do supplement over time, you won't have deficiency in any of the vitamins. The day you have scurvy in your mouth, scurvy? These white patches on the mouth. That means you've not really been. You've probably not been taking vitamin C for some time.
Wow.
But if you be taking something, that's not where you end up having scurvy. But in that case, when you treat scurvy, you now give you high dose vitamin C. But so if that scurvy, how can you be taking high dose vitamin 1,000? No, that's not. So those are therapeutic doses. A good formulation of multivitamin, you have all those things to keep you.
See, this is what I say about, just like you said, misuse of drugs and dosage. Because I actually know of people who take that 1,000 mg vitamin C normally, and then they use it for something else. It's been said that it's good for glowing skin or something. So there are people who actually use it for glowing skin. Yeah, is that safe?
Well, in the context of how they use it, we can't sit here now and say it's wrong, all right? They might know, yes. But one thing about vitamin C is more like it's water soluble vitamin. So hardly would you have an overdose of it. Okay. The body will take the much you could that you need that time, and the other body just goes into this and you excrete it out. What is bad is those fat soluble vitamins. That overdose of that can be very toxic to the body. One? Of the vitamin D, vitamin E, and all those of them. They're fat soluble ones. And you need to be careful what you take, how you take that. Okay. But C and other one, manganese, and you can just excrete them. But notwithstanding still, for those that take that, like you say, I hope they are really being well guided. I understand many studies come around now where you take enough, for glowing skin, so many things people say. Many of them not verifiable, So we just have to be, we can't be over aware, over careful, over about what we take and how we take what we do. Again, I said earlier, misuse of products, is a major problem across.
Yeah.
Self-medication, people just consume things and,
Wow. Thank you so much. Any last words before we go?
Okay, how we say, well, people should stay safe. It's a new year. You have your New Year resolution, and a New Year resolution without milestones is almost like a dream. So when you have your goal, put timelines to it and put actionable activities behind them. Otherwise, it's just the wishful thinking.
Yeah.
So I just wish everybody a very productive and successful new year. So by the end of the year, we can look back and count our blessings.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
having
Thank
me.
you. And guys, I hope that this has been a very beneficial one for you, because I know that I learned a thing or two. So, and I'm sure that you did too. So why don't you click that like button and also subscribe so that you get notifications when I come out with, what will I say, educative, videos like this. And also follow us on all our social media handles at The Eagle Online. And I'll see you next time. Can you say bye-bye to our guest?
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a lovely year. Thanks for having me.